Greetings everyone, I am the goddess known as Jackie Gates, and this video is about how I became a goddess working for Starbucks for $7 an hour. The reason I was working for Starbucks was because of the hole that I had got myself into with network marketing. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, you probably realize that you'll know by now that I bought every trick in the book. I bought every brochure. I bought every new tool. I bought every course that I could find, and some leads and marketing stuff and all this kind of thing to try and make myself a success at network marketing. What I didn't know at that point was none of this would work if my head wasn't right, if my vision wasn't right, and if the voices in my head were still telling me that I was a dismal failure, I had failed 5 times before, what makes you think you're going to succeed at this one, etc., etc., etc. So, with not a huge amount of debt, but still no income coming in, debt on my credit card, I had to come clean and basically go and find another source of income that would get rid of the credit card debt while I worked out the things in my head that were holding me back from becoming a network marketing success. Because my passion and my dream is to be able to work online, is to be at home in my sanctuary and not have to have a schedule set by somebody else. So I end up at Starbucks. You have to understand, I love Starbucks. I love the lattes. I love the whole coffee culture, etc. But there's this little nagging thought about you become the average of the 5 people that you hang out most with. Okay, well, that was a scary thought, because if you are wanting to rise above, what do you do about that? You're surrounded by people who may or may not want to raise themselves out of where they are. But if you're going to be the average of the 5 people you hang out most with, that is not a good sign. You need to get yourself some millionaires around you. So this was a little bit of a quandary for me. It was almost like I'd taken a step backwards away from my dreams in order to fix the things that I'd done before. So I started thinking about how I view myself. Whether I view myself as belonging there or whether it's just temporary. Now, I'm using my Starbucks example here, but now think if you are working at an office or working at some kind of job that you don't want to continue doing. You would much rather be doing stuff from home, working network marketing, working affiliate marketing, whatever that is. My solution was this. I started spending as much time with millionaires as I did working at Starbucks. And the way I did that was by listening to audiobooks, going to webinars, listening to free calls that I got on Facebook, chatting to them on Facebook. Basically hanging out, if not in person, then at least electronically, or by the audiobooks or by reading, so that I could actually spend as much time with them as I did with the people at Starbucks. The other thing I did was find myself a label. I was very concerned about being just a barista. A lot of people put just in front of their titles. They'll say, I'm just a housewife. They'll say things like, I'm just a teacher, I'm just a construction worker. There's no just about this, especially if you want to step out of it. The trick here is to find yourself a title that raises your status, that gives you something to step up to, something to step into. For example, my daughter was a shelver at Barnes & Noble for about 4 or 5 years. She used to obviously go in really early and put the books in the correct place. A shelver is not an illustrious occupation. It's a very interesting occupation, but it's not one of those sort of high up on the ladder. So she started wearing a name tag that said that she was a product placement specialist. Product placement specialist, which is exactly what she did. She knew exactly where everything had to go. So this was one of the prods that I got as well. So I decided I would become a goddess. I could be the goddess of lattes while I'm at Starbucks, and I will be a domestic goddess when I'm at home. And eventually I was going to become the goddess of the internet, or the goddess of video training, or the goddess of releasing other women's inner goddesses. The interesting thing was that once I announced this to my colleagues and to my regular customers, they all nodded and said, yes, of course you are. It was as though I had already become that even before I accepted the label. But once I accepted the label, everybody bought into it. Nobody laughed, or if they did, it was a sort of an admiring, oh, I wish I'd thought of that type laugh. And a lot of the other girls, it gave them courage to step into being the goddess of something else. So I want to encourage you, firstly, to think of what you label yourself as. And don't just think of a title, but sometimes if you say, oh, I'm so clumsy, or I can't cook, or whatever it is, I can't even think of them, there's so many. But whatever those labels are, choose them wisely. And the best label is the one that you want to step up to, that becomes a tool for your empowerment. For example, my great friend Joanne Donahue, she is Queen Joanne Donahue. We have the great Diane Hochman. We have the Shelley Allen. These are people that have taken a title and made it their own, and in becoming that title, become everything that they want to be. And I wish that for you, because that is happening for me. And it's as simple as claiming a title. So this is The Goddess, and I'm wishing you a goddess-worthy day. And I'll talk to you again soon.